و آل محمد. نه همینجا خوبه، بالای جای بزرگان است. نه خوبه. گفتن 5 دقیقه دیگه شروع کنم. Can I start? 5 minutes. Okay. Oh, read? Okay. Okay. میتونم بیام اونجا بشینم، مسئله نیست. فرق هستم. اوکی. اعوذ بالله من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. وتوکل علی الحی الذی لا یموت وسبح بحمده وكفى به بذنوب عباده خبيرا الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش الرحمن فاسأل به خبيرا وإذا قيل لهم اسجدوا للرحمن قالوا وما الرحمن أنسجد لما تأمرنا وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اسْجُدُوا لِلرَّحْمَنِ قَالُوا وَمَا الرَّحْمَنُ أَنَسْجُدُ لِمَا تَأْمُرُنَا وَزَادَهُمْ نُفُورًا تبارك الذي جعل في السماء بروجا تبارك الذي جعل في السماء بروجا وجعل فيها سراجا وقمرا منيرا وهو الذي جعل الليل والنهار خلفة وهو الذي جعل الليل والنهار خلفة لمن أراد أن يذكر أو أراد شكورا وعباد الرحمن وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما والذين يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد عجل
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما مولانا بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد عجل.
In the school of Tawheed, which is the main Quranic message Prophet Muhammad brought from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is that Allah wants to change our perspective to this world. Otherwise, if we have Ilahi perspective to the things, that will change everything. Let me give an example. There's a lot of people, they do adultery, which is called zina. And there are people that call themselves intellectuals or Roshan Fikran or Munawwir al-Afkar, and in different culture, different language, the different meaning says, what is the difference between a relationship, a normal without wedlock relationship, and a relationship with wedlock? What is different? Both are going to have same pleasure. Both are going to have kids if they want. Both are going to be bonded together. So what is the difference? What is difference? The simple thing is, one action has been started with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their involvement of Allah and His permission is involved. And the other act, there's a no God. That's it. So, having said this, the message is here. When we are eating a food, and when we say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, that food has a different taste. Maybe we don't feel that taste, but that is a different food. But when we eat some food without saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim prior to it, it's the same food, but that's going to have some different effect. We have a hadith from Masumeen. When we start something with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, basically you involve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that action. You bring Allah in that thing. And we can, if we want, we can just neglect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can go with our own desires. So there's a two thing, as I have been discussing these issues since the day first. When we decide something under the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is going to have a different direction. We don't know where we're going to end up. We don't know. Let me give an example. If you're traveling, you're in a path which is very dangerous path, right? There's a battle going on. Let's see. I can put an example like you're driving between somewhere between Ukraine and Russia, let's say these days. Just for example, you're driving in a way anytime anything could be happen to you. But all of a sudden you have someone who knows all the area, who knows all the techniques of battlefield, all the techniques of war. And he says, I'm going to the same way. Let's go together. I say, okay. You know all the ways. I know everything. I know how to use gun. I know where to hide. I know what's the ways. If you be loose, I know that all of the ways. Okay, you're happy. Okay, come in. So you get him in your car, and then you drive. You feel a little safer. But why? Because you have one sitting right beside you, and if he tells you, I'm friend of your brother, I'm an old friend, and then you're like, oh, alhamdulillah, I'm more safer because this person is a friend of my brother, friend of my sister, friend of my father, whatever it is. So when he says, I'm kind of somehow connected to you, I'm father of your friend, or something like that. If you find some kind of link, some kind of relationship, your heart is like more stronger. You feel, okay, now I'm much safer then. And he knows how to fight, he knows how to hide, he knows how to run, he knows all the ways. If I'm wounded, he has like a first aid box with him, and he knows all the things. Then you drive safer. Now, your plan A is to drive from this point to this point. But now this man sitting right next to you, he says, no. When you're here, he said, no, don't go straight. Make a left here. Why? Because I knows the way. I know the ways because I know the ways. When you're here, he says, no, don't go to the right. Go further left. Okay, further left. And then all of a sudden he's going all the way right. So you come here. So it's not to the direction where you want to get. But he said, no, come straight to the right and then make a. This is the point basically. When I decide for myself, I'm going to have this, I'm going to do this because I want it without involving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're in a way you don't know where you're going to be in trouble. You might face a lot of trouble, you might be get distracted, you might be get blown up, you might get a lot of issues. But when we have someone with us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, no, don't worry. We have in ilm aqaid or ilm kalam, we have few types of uh, tabligh. One way of tabligh is we say when Muballigh, the person who was trying to guide you, he just give you only the guidance. He said, okay, this is the roadmap. Take it with you and just leave me alone. Go ahead. Now you have the roadmap. Just move on. But sometime the guide tells you, oh no, because you are a very close one to me, you're a kind of family to me, I will not leave you upon you. That tabligh is called isal ilal matlub. Yeah, there's a two-way. Isal ilal matlub and isal ilal tariq. Isal ilal tariq, I will show you the tariq, the way, and I will leave you. Go ahead, move on. You have the map. Isa al maktub means the guide will hold your hand and it will take you step by step to the end. You're driving from here to New York. He says, no worries, I'm coming with you to New York. And then I will leave you there. I'll come back. I have to go somewhere else. And then he goes. Isa al tariq and Isa al matlub. When we involve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in lives, it is just like second one. Isa al matlub. He says, okay, if you're with me and you involve me in every single actions of your life, in every single deeds of your life, then you are not going to be distracted. You are not going to be in trouble that you cannot come out. No, I will be there with you. And I've explained a couple of stories, just like the story of Hajj Murtaza Hairi, a couple of days ago when he used to visit a lot Sahib al-Zaman. He used to visit a lot Imam Rada alayhi salatu wasalam before his death. In the amount people used to make fun of him. Okay, when you have free time, you just go to Mashhad. You go to Mashhad. How many times you go to Mashhad in a month? One time, two times, three times. Whenever he had some free time, he used to go to Mashhad, just 2 rakat salat and come back. And then he explained after his death, when one of students saw him in his dream, he said, when I was in Qabr and the people was putting lots of stone on me and I was all alone by myself, I felt my hand is in some warm hand, and I saw Imam Rada in my qabr. He said, don't worry, Sheikh Murtaza, I'm here. If you're alone, don't worry. They're leaving you, but I'm not leaving you, I'm here. And then after some time, when the Malaik came in to ask questions, And he was a little worried about this issue. Imam Rada again was there holding his hand and said, Sheikh Murtaza, don't worry, I'm here. If you can't answer them, I will help you. And then after the question and answer, when he was about to leave towards Barzakh, he met again Imam Rada alayhi salatu wasalam. Imam Raza told him, oh, Sheikh Murtaza, don't worry, I'm here. I'll help you. And when last time he was leaving Sheikh Murtaza, Imam told him, oh, Sheikh Murtaza, just just remember me. When you need me, just remember me. So it's all Salwa ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
It all depends what kind of relationship with you have. Sometimes we become too habitual to involve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then the life is going to be in a different way. So at the end, what I wanted to say that it's all about perspective. Moment has a different perspective than a non-moment person. We are living same thing. So we're eating same food. We're living in the same city. Our jobs is same. But the one is doing job to improve his pleasures, his lustful life, and this and that, and those things. There's a moment who doing the same job in the same premises, in the same conditions, with the same degree. But the thing is, the moment's perspective is totally different. In Zahir, in appearance, when you see him, yes, there's a tons of people that used to have shops in Medina old time, or maybe in Kufa when Janab Misa met Ammar was having the dates shop. But Misa was someone else, some other shakhsiyah, some other personality, and the others they had different personality. So same thing, same business, same job, but two different look makes you a different human being. When you perceive things in a different way, it definitely is going to make us a different way. Okay, Amir al-Mu'mineen, we were discussing yesterday about the will of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the wasiyat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, and we arrived to this place, and then Imam in the first few sentences explained the basic things about the dunya, and Imam said, if dunya comes to you, don't run behind it, even though don't look at it, don't worry. If you lose something from this dunya, never look at it. Sometimes we run behind dunya. Oh, dunya is leaving me. The world is leaving me. This job, this place, this I don't know, whatever it could be, anything which is called dunya in your opinion, and we run behind it to grab it. No, please don't leave me. Imam says, even though don't look at that. If it's leaving, is this job, this business, this life, this kind of status, whatever it is, this popularity, just forget it. Let it go. No, you're not going to be only not worried. Even the Imam said, don't consider is looking at it. Just don't look at it. Don't pay any attention to it. And then Imam said after this, always be to this in the side of or to the side of truth, not the batil, to the truth side. Always be the waqula. Speak when I explained yesterday a little bit. Truth is not always speaking truth. Truth means here in this context, do not speak lie. What is haram is falsehood, durugh, jhoot. That is haram. But not necessarily you speak truth. No. You can do some other answer. You can just give half an answer. You can just keep quiet. You don't answer. It's also support of the truth and being in truth and qula lil haq. It consider all those things. But never lie. Then Imam says, وَقُولَ بِالْحَقِّ وَعَمَلْ لِلْأَجْرِ. Do everything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means you are going to do things when you're sure you're going to get some reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there's no reward for you, something, forget it. Unless you can make something for your akhirah. Unless you can make something. So how can I make my after program and salat and we are going to have some iftar? How can I make my iftar in ibadah? Simple thing. Oh Allah, I'm eating this food. I want to be more healthy, to serve my family, my wife, my kids, my job, my community, and I want to serve you better. Say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Even though this food, and when you eat that food, this food is going to be other than food. That food we have been eating without the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on it. This food is that food is a totally different food. Wearing dress, driving a car, going to a job, coming back to home. And then Imam said, after in any action, we have to see some ajr, some benefit, some reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Imam said, وَكُونَ لِلظَّالِمِينَ خَصْمًا. Always be opponent of zalim. وَلِلْمَظْلُومِ عَوْنًا. And if this person is madloom, always in a way, in any way, there's a thousands of ways to support a madloom. If you can support in the highest extent, no worries. Lower, lower, lower. In the least, at least, support, but support madloom. Be always on the side of madloom. And then Imam said, "This is my will to my sons, you Hassan and Hussein, and all my children, and to those who listen or they will receive this message later on, much later, like people like us, followers of Amir al-Mu'minin. Usikuma wa jami waladi wa ahli wa man balaghahu kitabi." Those who are going to receive this message much later than maybe 2023 or 2023 or maybe 2032 or maybe if life goes on, people of future. After this, Imam said, Taqwallah, usikuma bijami wa. No, sorry about that. And then Imam said, Usikuma bitaqwallah. That sentence was in bracket. Usikuma, you two, Jamia Waladi, and all those going to listen in future my words or going to see my words. Usikum to what? Doing will, giving you my wasiyat of what? Bitaqwallah. Taqwa means always consider Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people translate taqwa in a way of fear, have fear of Allah. I don't say it's fear. There's a few kinds of fear. A fear is Corona is going to come again. Okay, trouble. The fear is there is a dinosaur just become alive and now he's moving towards Kansas, so he's going to eat all people. Okay, there's a kind of fear. There's a different kind of fear, and the fear is I have a very good friend and he's been very good friend with me. But the problem is when I wear white clothes, my this friend hate white color. Some this is a false example. Let's assume. So when I'm going to see him, and all of a sudden I realize, oh, I'm going to see my friend when he hate the white color. So let me drive back home. I go back and I go change my dress, and I take off my white shirt and I wear a blue shirt or gray shirt or green shirt because and someone is going to ask me, why are you changing your dress? He said because I'm going to see my friends. Then what? Because I'm too don't know. It's a personal thing. What is personal thing? Because my friend hate white color. So because of due to his love, I'm going to change my dress. I'm going to wear green, or I'm going to wear blue, I'm going to, I don't know, yellow, whatever it is. But I'm not going to wear white because taqwa means I'm going to do things which is not going to make Allah mad on me. So do you what you want to do, doesn't matter. But you know your boundaries according to Quranic science. You know the boundaries. I am going to play in this field. If you're a very good football player, and all of a sudden you take the ball, you jump into the people, those who are watching you, and you start playing from there, thinking that you're going to receive a whistle. Shh, come back. No, because I'm a good player, I want to play there. You can't play there. That's not the field. Stay in the field and play here. When you leave the field, when you're out, you're out. You're not part of the game. Quran says, stay in the field. And when Quran explains that, it says, Mu'mineen, they do not even look close to the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Quran says, don't go close to the boundaries. تِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ فَلَا تَقْرِبُوهَا. These are the boundaries of Allah. When you arrive there, don't touch it. Much more than that, never cross it. Even though when you're close, it's still a little behind, a meter back, 2 meters back, 5 meters, 10 meters, 10 foot. تِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ فَلَا تَقْرِبُوهَا. Don't go close to that. So Imam said, achieve or have taqwa means consider Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bring Allah in your actions, in all of your actions. Fear, not in the meaning we use the word of fear. No, due to Allah's love, because you don't want to lose love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so use that fear. You have to have that kind of fear. If you do something, you might lose love of God, and this is not good. Usikuma bi taqwallah. And then وَنَظْمِ أَمْرِكُمْ. Imam Ali could say a lot of things. When I was a very young student in Qom, in early time of Hawza Ilmiya, and when first time I was reading about the uh, Wasiyat of Amir al-Mu'minin, the very before Imam got wounded, there's a Wasiyah before Imam was wounded. And in that Wasiyah, Imam says, talking about the birds of home, the ducks. I mean, this is amazing for me. I was so amazed. I mean, why Imam Ali is talking about the ducks? Imam Hassan Hussein. We have some birds. These birds, ducks, are here. And if you can't keep them, you can't feed them in home, set them free. Imam Ali, let me talk about the bank, talk about the accounts, talk about the policy, talk about the government. I mean, this is Imam Ali. You're talking about the ducks? And these Western society says you're Muslim, you don't know the animal rights? Yes. If you follow the line of majority of the Muslims, yes, they don't care because Daesh is coming from there, from that side. But Imam says, no, if you can't feed them, Imam pays attention even to birds in home. Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein, if you can't feed them, it is amazing. I mean, Amir al-Mu'mineen's character, his life, his words, his attention, it's all miracle. His akhlaq is a miracle. It's a mu'jiza. And it is a miracle. A person could have taught a lot of things. Lots of politicians when they die and look at their will, how they start their will, what they're talking about. I'm always talking about these things. Here in this wasiyah, which is after he became wounded, Imam said, "Nadme amrikum, my children, sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad."
اللهم صل على محمد وآل
Imam
محمد.
said, "Be the people of discipline. Discipline, my brother, sister, discipline. It's an important thing. Sleep on time, eat on time, wake up on time. When you promise, I had a master in Hawza Ilmiya. One day he made a very beautiful statement. He was a Sayyid from Tehran. One day, our Aqaid's teacher, one day he said, if I don't come one day, if I don't come one day at the time of class and you don't have news that I'm not coming, you can assume that I'm dead. That's how I am committed to my job." Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh Amuli, he says, he is a student of Ayatollah Sha'rani in Tehran. He says, one day there's a heavy snow in Tehran, too much snow, like 60, 70, 80 years ago. Too much snow. I mean, these days we have very less snow in Tehran or in those areas in Iran, Qom, big cities. In the old time, there was too much snow. He said, one day there was a lot of snow, and I was thinking, I was sitting in a house and in a room, and I was thinking, should I go today because there's like a couple of 2 meters, 2.5 meters snow, just too much snow. My ustad is not going to come to the masjid. So usually he used to come to masjid and he go to the masjid. Both they get together and they get their lessons. Atul Hassan Zadeh, he said, I think like today I can't go because it's just too much snow, and then he's definitely not going to show up. And I went the day after. When I was there, well, there's a not big difference. Still, snow was there, but the ways were open. My teacher, Ayatollah Shara, took my hand and said, "Come with me, Hassan. Come with me. Let's go and see someone." He brought me to a person, a beggar who was sitting beside the street and asking help from people. He said, "This beggar, he was yesterday here because his life depends on every day's risk. If he's not going to beg today, he's not going to eat tonight. So he has to come every day to make some money, some food, and to survive. So whether it's a snow or a tornado or whatever it is, he's going to be here." And he indirectly, my teacher told me, if you're really dying for knowledge, the snow and tornado and what you call whatever it is, tsunami, it's not going to matter to you. You have to be there where you have to be. Unless Imam says, "Nadam amrikum." Sometimes we just promise, "Yes, I will do that, brother. Don't worry." "Oh, yes, I will definitely do that for you." And the time comes, we never show up. When the friend calls, I say, "Oh my God, I forgot. I forgot," just like this. No, make a note. When you promise, do something. If you don't promise, smart people never promise. I'll try my best. But when you promise, either you are dead or you're on the time, on your spot where you have to be. Imam said, "Nadma amrikum." It's a very, very, very basics of the life of Amir al-Mu'mineen. We all heard that. Rasulullah promised with someone in a corner and said, "Okay, I'll see you in this corner of the street." And people saw Rasulullah standing there in the sun. It was hot. They come to Rasulullah and said, Ya Rasulullah, you're standing in the sun. At least move from this corner to that corner. Rasulullah told them, no, I'm going to stay here because I told him I'm going to meet you here. That person, by the way, didn't show up. But Rasulullah was waiting him right in that corner. He promised. He said, in the sun, but I will stay here. Rather staying there because if he come, he don't see me, he might go. So I promised him here, so I will stay here, even in the sun. My teacher at the beginning of the Hawza time, he said, if I didn't show up, you can assume that I'm dead. That means when I promise, I keep my promise and I go. I come with my promise. I fulfill my promise. Nazmi amrikum, discipline. And then Imam says, وَصَلَاحِ ذَاتِ بَيْنَكُمْ فَإِنِّي سَمِعْتُ جَدَّكُمَا يَقُولُ صَلَاحُ ذَاتِ بَيْنَكُمْ أَفْضَلُ مِنْ عَامَّةِ الصَّلَاةِ وَالصِّيَامِ. Let me ask you a question. What is the best deeds according to a religion of faith in Islam? Go ahead, Bismillah. What's your answer? What is the best amal? Prayer. Subhanallah. Next. Any other thing? Tawheed. Any other thing? So, good thing. Next. Any other? Huh? Charity. Very good. Wonderful. What's it? Human rights. Very good, though. These are all the priorities, right? Now, the sentence of Rasulullah. Imam Ali said, فَإِنِّي سَمِعْتُ جَدَّكُمَا. Imam Ali said to Hassan and Hussein, I have heard from your Jad, from your grandfather, Rasulullah. What I have heard? صَلَاحُ ذَاتِ الْبَيْنِ أَفْضَلُ مِنْ عَامَّةِ الصَّلَاةِ وَالصِّيَامِ. If you solve the problems of Muslimin, it is better than your all common salat and so. There are disputes, اختلافات, مشاكل. In Urdu and Farsi, dushmani, badbini, pessimism. People are not optimistic to each other. They have su'azan. If you fix these problems, it is better than, this is not my words. You can say, Sheikh Ammar, he's not okay today. He's talking something. No, it's not my words. This is the Wasiyat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, letter number 47 from Nahjul Balagha. A Masoom is telling to two Masoom about the character of Rasulullah, that I have heard this from your grandfather Rasulullah. If you fix, in Islam, few things is beautiful. Lying is totally haram. You can't lie, except few places in Islam. What are those places? Can anyone tell me? Saving Muslim life, wonderful. Next. Ahsan. Ahsan. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad for those two brothers. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Yes. Even though you can lie for this thing, even you can. I mean, there's a dispute between you and him. I see him. I said, "Oh, this brother, he loves you a lot. He respects you. He always talks positive about you." He said, "Hey, really? Yeah." When I come to see him, I said, "This brother is always positive. He always talks positive for you." To bring them to close. Rasulullah said, and the third one I'm not going to tell you from here. Otherwise, ladies are going to jump on me. Man is allowed some time to lie with his wife. Yeah, I mean, this is trouble part. Needs a whole majlis for this thing, only for this sentence. Inshallah, I will explain later on. To cool down the atmosphere in home, sometime it is necessary. Rasulullah said, Imam Ali said, I heard this from your grandfather, Rasulullah. Solving the problems in the people is better than your common salat. You're sitting down and doing all the mustahabbat, salat and mustahabbat, so all those mustahabbat and mustahabbat and mustahab. If you can use that time to solve the problem between mu'mineen, it is much better, much, much, much better than your common salat and so. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it a beautiful religion of mazhab of Ahlul Bayt, the path of Ahlul Bayt? It is beautiful. Then Imam said, I can go a little more in detail sometime. My brother and sister, we have to always pay attention to one thing. Islam is a religion of priorities. We cannot put down a priority and say, because I like this, let me do this first, and then I will do that priority later on. Never do that. Never do that. In Islam, priority is a priority. If Islam says do this first, this is more valuable. Do this first. You remember that the very first day when I came here a week ago, I mentioned the story of Imam Hassan Mujtaba Salamullah alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When Imam Hassan Mujtaba was in a itikaf, you know, when you're in itikaf for 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, whatever it is, then you just do your wajib beside the wajib salat, mustahab salat, dua. It's a kind of meditation. You just disconnect from the whole world. No mobile, no chit chat, no talking, no friendship, no husband wife, nothing. You just 3 days, 6 days, 7 days. It's up to you. You decide for 3 days or 7 days or 10 days. Sit down in the masjid. You just do namaz and roze and fasting and just reading a hadith and Quran and that's it. It's a plan of purification. Just purify yourself to disconnect from this muddy world. Imam was sitting, and when you join it, then you cannot leave it. You have to finish your days. It's wajib on you, kind of. Imam Hassan was in itikaf. A person came to Imam, said, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, a person is trying to take me to police because I owe him to some money and he wants some money from me. But wallahi al-azim, I don't have money. If I would have money, I would give him. So please, when you're done with your itikaf, talk to him and ask him some time for me. He should allow me some time, then I gather money, I'll return it to him. Imam just stood up. Imam said, no, let's go. He said, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, I do not want to ruin your itikaf. Imam said, no, don't worry. Let's go. He insisted to Imam, please do not ruin your itikaf. Imam said, no, let's go now. And they left. Prior to leaving, Imam made a statement. Imam said, you know, solving a Muslim brother's problem in whole, completely. Solving a Muslim brother's problem is equal to, anyone remember the number? Ahsantum. One salawat for him. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Ahsantum. Imam told him it's equal to ibadat of 9,000 years. Helping one brother, one sister. In a way, you just solve his whole problem in one attempt. It equal to 9,000 years of ibadah. Let's say we go to in the Yawm al-Qiyamah. We're standing with Ahlul Bayt and we're trying to reach to Amir al-Mu'minin, we're trying to reach to Rasulullah, we're trying to reach to Imam Sajjad, Imam Hussein, but we can't reach. But we are going to see people standing right there, very close, and we say, oh my God, how is possible? I mean, in this dunya, this person never showed up in center, he was not in the helping there and there, and he was not doing namaz Eid, and he was not doing this and that, but he's very close to Ahlul Bayt. And I was doing all those mustahabat, all those salat and som and topi and kurta and tasbih and ring and all the things. But I'm not there. Why he's there? Simple. You didn't know that. He spent his, or she, doesn't really matter, mu'mineen. They spend their entire life to solve mu'mineen's problems. And I spend my entire life for feeding myself. And there's a nothing important. All goats and sheep do the same thing. They spend their life for feeding themselves. So what is the difference between man, human and animals? That's the difference. And especially those who call themselves Shia, the follower of Ahlul Bayt, they're more eager to help others, to solve the problems. And solving problems does not mean if I pay someone $10, $15, $200, $100. No. Whether I always say, if someone asks you something, never say no. Do what you can do. But Imam said, there's a hadith, if I can find the hadith, min kafarat dhunub akabir, the great sins. Gunah kabire, the great sins. One of the kafarat of great sins is when we solve someone's problem in full. There's a person who has debt, 20,000, 15,000, 10,000. He's going through lots of troubles. Solve this problem. In one attempt, finish it. This kind of actions is going to be min kafarat dhunub al-akabir. Great sins, if you want to repent from those great sins, if you have, most of us, na'udhu billah, don't have that, alhamdulillah. But if if you have something like that, these kind of actions can remove the whole gunah kabira from our lives, whole great sin. There's a hadith from, and this is important. This hadith is from Imam Jafar Sadiq salamullah alayhi, narrated narrated from Janab Kulaini from Usul Kafi and Muhammad ibn Yahya. And then I don't read this whole sanad. Then Imam said, لا تنظروا إلى طول ركوع الرجل وسجوده. Don't look to the long sajda and long ruku and long topi and long kurta and long tasbih and long, all the long things. Don't look to doing those things. لا تنظروا إلى طول الركوع والسجود. If someone is doing long sujood, long ruku, no, don't look at that. فإن ذلك شيء قد اعتاده. He is performing all those actions because he is habitual to it. Since the child he was doing salat and saum regularly, आदत बन गई है. Now आदत दारे रकान जाम पे दें कर मुताबिक आदत इजारे घर में कौन है चुन आदत हो गई उनको ये काम करने की आदत के हिसाब से कर रहे हैं ना करेंगे तो परेशानी हो जाएगी उनको because they get habitual to it. Then Imam said فلو تركه استوحش لذلك. If he quit salat and saum, he's going to be frightened, he's going to be in fear because he's habitual to it. चूंकि आदत बन गई है, आदत की खातिर वो काम करेंगे, छोड़ देंगे, उनको वहशत हो जाएगी. خیلی عبادت है ضروری عادت है اگر نکنیم وحشت میکنیم نماز یادمون رفته روزه یادمون رفته چونکه عادت हो गई है वो काम करते हैं because we are habitual to that, we want to do this, we want to do this. But the salat has a different quality. Quran says inna salat tanha anil fahsha'i wal two things. Fahsha, all great sins. Munkar, all small sin. Everything you consider as this is not correct, there's some problem in it. You abstain yourself. You protect yourself from doing that. No, I'm not going to do this because there's a doubtful things in it. Fahsha wa munkar. If I'm just keep praying and keep praying and keep praying, I'm just keep praying. But I'm still doing all munkarat and fawahish. I'm part of this hadith. These people are doing their ibadah just because of their regular habits. Simply, this salat, this psalm has no benefit. لا تنظروا إلى طول الركوع والسجود فإن ذلك شيء قد اعتاده فلو تركه استوحش لذلك. And then Imam said ولكن, now the main thing, ولكن انظروا إلى صدق حديثه وأداء أمانته. Look at two qualities. صدق حديثه, when he speaks, how he speaks. He speaks truth. And look at his amanat. If you talk to him something very personal, sometimes you say, brother, don't tell that. And next hour you say the whole community knows that. Big problem. I mean, these people are not people of amana. You can trust, not trustworthy. Imam said, look at him, how he is trustworthy. If he's trustworthy, and he speaks truth, always towards the truth side, then you can call him a mu'min, a Muslim. Don't look at his salat and sawm and tula ruku and tula sujood and tula topi and tula pajama and tula kurta and tula or whatever. What do you call dadi? Beard sometimes goes all the way to the sky. No, don't need that. You don't need that. But look at his trustworthiness. Look at his trustworthiness. हम कितना इन पे भरोसा कर सकते हैं? चगात मिशे बिशे एतमाद करते हैं. मिशे बिशे एतमाद कर देना आसान. हार्फ बेजानी फ़र्दा कुल्ला शार भाग से. हमने कोई बात उनसे कही, पूरा शायर एक घंटे में सबको पता लग गया. पता लगा कुछ. इतनी लंबी दाढ़ी, इतना बड़ा हिजाब, पूरी दुनिया भर गई इनके हिजाब से, इतनी बड़ी टोपी, लंबा लंबा सजदा, लंबे लंबे मोटे मोटे भैंस वाले आंसू। हाँ, लोग कहते हैं गिरगिटान के, किसके आंसू कहते हैं मारूफ है उर्दू में? क्रोकोडाइल के आंसू, हम कहते हैं भैंस के आंसू, चलें तब भी ठीक ही है। रो रहे हैं साहब, आसमान हिल रहा है इनका रोने से, आसमान हिल रहा है। अर्श दर तकून में खुरज गरी वो नाले वो अदाई की दर असलन derdی نمیخوره آدم فریبکار هیچ دردی نمیخوره. If I'm not trustworthy, these salat, so nothing. Not my words. It's a message of Imam Jafar Sadiq salam alayhi sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Why we do these things? Why we do these things? Simple. Sometimes we consider some of the sin is very simple. Oh no, this guna is not a big thing, so just let it do it. And tomorrow I'll do tawbah, inshallah. Rasulullah said, لا تنظروا إلى صغر الذنب ولكن انظروا إلى من اجترأتم. Don't look at this as the cheapness of small, being small of the sin. Oh, this is very small, guna, small thing. No, look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in front of who you're committing this sin. Whether it's small or big, doesn't matter. Small sin, big sin, doesn't matter. I'm committing this sin in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That matters. Not the amount of sin. No. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, إن المؤمن لا يرى ذنبه كأنه صخرة يخاف أن تقع عليه. A mu'min, a true mu'min, sees his sin as a mountain standing on his head. It can fall anytime on his head. But وإن الكافر يرى ذنبه كأنه ذباب مر على أنفه. But the kafir, I mean, there are lots of people, I don't want to say that we have those traces, but if we look inside ourselves, we have sometimes those traces. Imam said, kafir, he sees his sin like a small fly just passed through his nose. It's a small thing. I'll fix it tomorrow, don't worry. How can we weigh ourselves? Are we among the team of Malik Ashtar, Salman Farsi, Abu Zar Ghafari, Ammar? Amazing. Sometimes I see things in history. Imam Ali as a ma'soom, when he was giving khutbah, Imam started crying, a big cry, and says, Aina Ammar, Aina Falan, Aina Falan. How was those characters like Ammar? Imam Ali is crying for them. Where are my best friends? Zurara ibn Ayun, Imam said to Zurara, when I see you, my heart get enlightened. I feel peace in my heart when I see you. How are these people? One day, Janab Zurara or maybe Abu Basir maybe came to Imam and said, Imam, I explained your fatwa. I explained your fatwa in a community. But I heard next day you said, I have no knowledge of religion. And my fatwa is wrong. Is that true? Imam said, yes. Yesterday, a group of people were sitting with me, and there was a spies of government, jasus of government. And they asked me about your opinion. They asked me that Zurara had told me this thing from you. And I said, no, Zurara has no knowledge of that. I tried to save your life because they were jasus of the. If they knew that you are my friend, they would go to kill you. Imam, how Imam loves us. Imam is doing taqiyya in Tawriyah to save us. And how we treat with our Aimma. We don't care about their sayings, their lifestyle, their nothing. In al-Mu'min la yara dhanbahu ka'annahu sakhratun yukhafu alat. Mu'min sees always his sin as a mountain hanging on his head. It can just come down and kill him. But munafiq or kafir sees his sin like a small fly moves or pass through his nose. No, it's just not a big thing. I'll fix it. You can't fix it. If we have done something knowingly, we have to do something right after that. Always remember this, my brother and sisters. We have in a hadith from Masumin, أكثر أهل النار هم أهل التسويف. Most of the people are going to be in hellfire in Jahannam. They are people of taswif. People of taswif means میگفتن که حالا فردا توبه میکنیم عجله نیست. حالا فردا جبرانش میکنیم. فردا انشالله حالا فردا هفته دیگه ये کارش میکنیم. اهل تصویف उन्हें कहते हैं उर्दू में कल तौबा कर लेंगे इंशाल्लाह कल देख लेंगे कल हम कुछ रास्ता निकाल लेंगे कल कुछ कर लेंगे कल tasawwuf comes from saufa means very soon, so very soon I'm going to do tawbah कल कर लेंगे कल. Most of the people of Jahannam hellfire are ahl taswif. They said, oh, I will do that, I'll fix it tomorrow inshallah. No, do right there so wuzu, do right there zukhli tawbah, do some ziyarat ashura, do something. If you have done something, do something right there. Another hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam where it says,
صل على محمد وآل محمد.
beautiful hadith, inna iblis radhiya minkum bil muhaqqarat wa dhanbu alladhi la yughfar qawlu ar-rajul la uakhadhu bihadha dhanb istigharan lahu. Beautiful hadith. Iblis is agreed with you if you can count your sin haqir and cheap. He agrees with you with that. And that sin is not going to be forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we consider some sin as this is not important. شیطان همیشه میگه که از محقرات از من راضیه. هر گناهی که ما حقیر بشماریم شیطان میگه خوب همین خوبه. این گناهی نیست اصلا مهم نیست بعداً علی کارش میکنیم. همین گناهی که حقیر شمردیم شیطان خوشحال شد. آفرین با مایی. हर गुनाह के जैसे हम लोग हकीर समझें ये तो कोई गुनाह नहीं है बहुत छोटा मामूली सा गुनाह है बाद में कुछ कर लेंगे इसका ये बहुत बड़ा गुनाह नहीं है मामूली सी चीज़ है ठीक है बाद में देख लेंगे शैतान खुश हो गया इसी से हमने जब गुनाह को हकीर समझा शैतान खुश हर का ये गुनाह رو حقیر شمردیم و گفتیم حالا که مهم نیست شیطان اصلا کیف میکنه آفرین با مای کلن با مای when we consider any sin valueless oh man this is not a big deal we'll fix it. Shaitan is happy. Iblis is happy with you. Why? And that sin is not going to be forgiven if we do commit with this sin, just considering as valueless. This is very haqir. It's a not important thing. And then Imam Raza Salamullah alayhi says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. As-saghairu min al-dhunub turuqun ila al-kabair. My brothers, Imam Raza Salamullah alayhi, when he was forced to accept the ministry, basically what Imam did with the Ma'mun, Imam just chessmade him basically. Imam said, I will accept that with one condition. I will not involve in your political decisions. He was, wow, this is nice. He's my minister. He's not going to be bothering me. Oh, it's a good deal. Yes. But now when we see from here, we say, wow, it was a smart move. Yep, Rasulullah. All the corruptions is on the government. Imam accepted this for a few reasons. One of the reasons, Imam's very first job is to teach people. Imam said, I will accept that place, that rutubah, maqam, or that grade or what ministry, but I will remain with my people. And Imam stayed always all his life with his people, teaching them, just teaching them all about the values of Islamic, Quranic values or values from Rasulullah and other Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu salam. Imam Raza Salamullah alayhi says, As-saghair min al-dhunub, small sin, turuqun ila al-kabair, they are pathways towards gunahan kabira, great sins. Those who commit carelessly small sins, they are paving the track, the roadway, pathway towards all kaba'ir. When they're going, one day they are going to end up right there. الصغائر من الذنوب طرق إلى الكبائر ومن لم يخف الله في القليل, and those who do not have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in committing small sins will never have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they commit great sins. Some kind of drugs are not haram. I'm not going to name the drug for you. Some kind of drugs are not haram. But when you ask a marja, they say it is haram. When you go personal to them, very close, and they ask the reason, there's no hadith, there's no this drug is not proven that is a haram. They say this drug is a gateway of the hell. This drug is a gateway of all other drugs. So if you use this, I know everybody's going to ask me, Sheikh, oh come on, please, after Majlis, tell me what is that. I will never tell you. Maharaja said, don't use this drug. While it's not haram, but if you use this drug, it's a gateway towards the kaba'ir, big drugs. If you use this, one day you're going to use cocaine and heroin and opium, and all those killers will destroy your life, personal life, family life, social life, and everything. Here, Imam said all the small sins are a gateway towards the greater sins. If we commit this, one day I'm going to be there to do bigger things without considering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in my eyes. الصغائر من الذنوب الطرق أو طرق إلى الكبائر ومن لم يخف الله في القليل لم يخف في الكثير. If I don't care, I'm not going to care about anything. May Allah give us tawfiq inshallah ta'ala to follow the path of Ahlul Bayt. May Allah give us tawfiq to follow and understand the all wisdoms of Ahlul Bayt. May Allah give us tawfiq to follow the path of Quran and Rasulullah. May Allah give us tawfiq to see Sahib al-Asli wa Zaman and serve him as his best followers. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل
Well, I was told from Brother Brother Jafari that at the end you will have some question answer session, and most of the time it was short, and by the time I finished my speech. But if you have question answers, personal question answer, I'll be with you after the thing. If you have common questions, if I can answer, and please don't ask the hard questions I said first day. Bismillah, I'll be with you.